We're coming. Ben Leber's appearance, 9 to noon, is courtesy of Maple Grove Lock and Safe. We have a Maple Grove Lock and Safe Lock of the Week coming up shortly. At Nacho Leber is where you follow him via the tweet machine. And we all watch him on Twin Cities Live, Channel 5, each and every weekday, 3 to 4:30. In fact, today on Twin Cities Live, we focus on Colts 39-year-old quarterback Joe Flacco and his keys to succeeding at such an old age. How he trains, what he eats, and a desire to win that burns from Indy to Indonesia. That's today on Twin Cities Live with Nachito. But seriously, 39 years of age, old people don't like to get hit. Still has a relatively big arm, gets rid of it quickly, sees it quickly. Yeah. I mean, Joe Flacco, the more you just kind of look at what he's done and where he's been, he's kind of amazing. He has some HOF to him, doesn't he?
I know he kind of does. He's sneaky. And the thing is, the way he's doing it too, he's coming to the rescue for these teams and he's playing loose and fast. He doesn't carry the weight of the franchise on his shoulders. He's just out there making plays and playing free. It really is sort of it's like the older you get, that wisdom that you learn in life, the way you carry yourself in life, the things that matter, that don't matter. Maybe I don't carry this as the way I used to carry this. That comes with experience, and you see the way he plays, and he just looks like a wise quarterback that's out there just having fun. And you said it, he's still got some talent to him. He still has some skill, which is crazy. I mean, he has a big arm. He does, because of their system. He will get the ball out quick. But the thing that I've been impressed with watching him is his eyes. He's really good with his eyes.
Really? He scans?
He scans really quickly and very decisively. It is like, nope, throw. He's able to, because he's older and he's experienced. He knows the system and the defense that don't like the first and second read. I'm going to the third. And he gets there very, very quickly. And so even some of the quick throws are not necessarily one read quick throws. He can just decipher it pre-snap, which is why I think this will be such an interesting matchup, is because we do so much pre-snap. How clearly is he going to see it? Right. I don't know. I hope that he is, even with all of his wisdom, is more confused than not on Sunday night.
And I mean, Flacco, I can't remember where he was drafted, but he came from Delaware, and he wasn't. I don't think a lot of people would have guessed, A, he would have played in the league this long, B, he would have been a Super Bowl MVP, and C, he's probably going to the Hall of Fame. So he's overachieved to a certain extent. Now, having that swivel that we talked about, scanning the field, I mean, that matters a ton. So let me ask you this, and maybe there's not an answer to it, but there have been so many quarterbacks who come into the game, highly touted, ballyhooed, first-round picks, and they don't have a swivel, like Justin Fields. I mean, he still can't find his swivel. It's like it's 1.5 read, we're kind of looking at where maybe it'll go if the one's covered. Christian Ponder had problems with that early in his career. He was a first-round pick. Bryce Young, if Bryce Young had a swivel, he would have hit Adam Thielen last year, center of the field, when he put a double move on Byron Murphy Jr., and I think it would have tied the game if they had gotten the 2 or the extra point or something. But he doesn't have a swivel. How do quarterbacks get this swivel, and how come some don't have it? Even if they're drafted super high, they just never have the ability to scan the field.
I would say that if I knew that answer and I knew it confidently, then somebody would be tapping me to be a GM somewhere. It's a very hard question to answer. I don't have the answer. I wish I knew. I mean, they go through all of these metrics and analytics, and even just watching their quarterback play in college, and then you have to look at the system that they're in and the verbiage that they're using and all this other stuff, and you have to break it all down. And Ponder would use him as an example. Super high IQ guy. Yeah, and that's the thing. Some of these guys that have very high academic IQs are some of the worst quarterback processors.
Right.
Because they overanalyze things, and they don't realize, yes, if he's in the classroom, he'll get the right answer. He can draw the little football and put the dotted lines, and that's where it's supposed to go because of X, Y, and Z coverage. I have time to analytically look at this and break it down. But on the field of play, you have to be a full step ahead of the defense. And you have to be thinking before the ball is snapped. And you have to almost anticipate. It's the anticipation that some guys just have it and some guys don't. And that's not always, a lot of times, it's not always academic book smarts. That's just being football savvy and high football IQ. So how do you separate high academic IQ that sometimes looks like high football IQ, but then when they get on the field, they don't have the high football IQ?
Right.
So
and being a quarterback. Okay, so let's go to one of your former teammates. In fairness, let's just say Adrian Peterson did not have a high football IQ or did not put a lot of time into studying the nuance. However, when he made a mistake, he's so gifted, he was able to overcome the mistake by himself with speed, agility, or running through people. Now, that's a running back. The quarterback situation obviously is dramatically different. If you're not if you're not scanning that field, you ain't going to last in the league very long.
No, I mean, and that's why every position is so different. When the metrics that you're looking at, those intangibles that you're looking at, you can have a low IQ defensive lineman, maybe has moderate football IQ and can be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah,
because physically they're just more talented. The skill set, there's no way they can match them. You pair that with maybe a high intense motor, and you've got yourself a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
You can't have those attributes as a quarterback where it's just effort. Yeah, you might have a big arm and you might be able to run and you might give a lot of effort, but if you can't have the football processing skills, then you're a nobody. You're a bench player. So it is different. And there are a lot of quarterbacks out there, past and present and even in the future. They might be terrible students at school. Terrible. And they don't even care if they know what the square root of 81 is. Yeah. They don't care. Doesn't matter to them. But they can go on the field and they can decipher and they can process and they can take chances and they can throw with accuracy and they have moxie. And if they've got that, you can make yourself a player.
Brilliantly stated. Have you ever had turf toe? And what is turf toe?
Never had turf toe. It's basically, the way I understand it, it's the spraining of the ligaments in the big toe joint, not on the knuckle.
So it's like gout that never leaves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also gout that prohibits you from using that foot. So you wouldn't be able to push off. You wouldn't be able to, your lateral movements would be, severely hampered. And again, it's just like any other sprain of any other ligament. There are different degrees to it. You can have an ankle sprain and you play through it.
Yeah.
You can have an ankle sprain and need surgery. So you can sprain your big toe joint and have what they call turf toe, and it can be sore. It can swell. There are some things you can do for it taping wise, but that's kind of the tricky part. There's really nothing that you can do to really support it, because everything that they do, from the way I understand it, when they tape it up and they sort of try to give it some support, it kind of compromises the way your foot operates, because your foot is there's so many bones and joints in your foot.
Well, you can't run without bending that joint.
And you can't run without bending. Then, you almost have like a flat foot or like a drop foot situation.
Yeah. We wouldn't put Abbott out there trying to cover people.
Abbott would not make a good linebacker, especially in his current state.
But it's an unfair comparison because Cashman still can feel his foot.
That is true.
So he's actually able to operate.
That's my fault.
Well, okay, so in real terms, who was the linebacker from the Dallas Cowboys that hurt himself, I think, in the national championship game, blew his knee out?
Van Der Esch?
No, he had neck issues.
Ta Wen? Not Ta Wen. No, Ta Wen's a former jockey at Canterbury. Dat Wen.
No, it was. He played with Van Der Esch. Why am I blanking on his name?
Well, not Micah Parsons.
Anyway, his knee.
Was it number 50, like Brooks or Lee?
No.
Wait, it was Brooks Lee who just hit a triple for the Twins and ousted the New York Yankees.
No, it was a black guy. Gosh, I can't remember. He was super talented, but the thing is, like, he busted up his knee.
Yeah.
And it ended up giving him nerve damage, and it gave him
Jalen Smith.
Jalen Smith.
Bam.
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame. Thank you.
And he had to,
off draft boards because of that.
He was never the same player because the drop foot never really came back. He could never.
Yeah.
Now that's a severe case of like, we're talking
drop
turf
foot,
toe
though.
versus like drop foot.
When you have drop foot, it's Halloween 365 days of the year if you're dressed the right way.
I know. Yeah, stick your arms out.
The Hunchback of Notre Dame one day, Frankenstein the next day.
Yeah, Saucy. He kind of beat us. He just texted me, Jalen Smith. Got it. All right, thanks, Sauce.
Well, when players come off draft boards and there is don't tell anybody, but combine medical checkout and our sources and stuff like that, and this player's off our draft board. Mostly, I'm gonna say 90 some odd % of the time, it's right. They may play a season and a half, but that's it. However, I'll never forget I believe it was. Not the 2009 season. Jonathan Vilma. I had been told Jonathan Vilma for like hip degeneration or knee degeneration, the cane, that, because of those reasons, he's off a certain draft board. Defensive Rookie of the Year that year.
I always love that one.
So, sometimes they play through the problems,
I know. And sometimes it's so, when you're talking about high draft picks, again, I don't know what that pressure is like, that you're investing a lot of money into these guys. And, you get a red flag on a medical and you're like, well, I got to listen to my medical department. If they deem it's going to be degenerative and you might get one good flashy year out of him, but you're not going to get any longevity, then maybe you have to take them off your draft board or move them so much lower. Not to say they can't be good players for a year or two, but you have to think about the long-term effect.
So turf toe and Cashman.
Yeah.
And he didn't practice. Oh, goody. But Kevin O'Connell said that he worked out and did as much as you can game plan wise from the Mike Hughes Memorial Field. But he's on the Mike Hughes Memorial Field.
Yeah.
If he's on that field today, he's not going to play this Sunday night. Maybe another game and take him to Jacksonville, like this turf toe thing, man. How long does this thing linger? Holy cow!
I know it's concerning. It really is because, it's also just when he came off the field and in London, and they didn't give him like an IR status or whatever. It all just kind of like says to all of us that like, okay, it's a tweak, it's a thing. We'll monitor it. Shouldn't be more than like a week or two. Well, now we're getting into like, oh my gosh, if he misses another game after a bye week and a mini bye week, it's like, is there something more to this? Now, it's positive news that he's on the field. He's on the Mike Hughes field. It sounds like he's going, as close to full speed as possible. We are only on a Thursday.
Yeah.
So the bull
for a home game with no travel. That's
for
a good
a home game, no travel.
Right.
He's a veteran linebacker that probably, it's fine. He could probably even miss a Wednesday on-field practice. It's not like he's not getting the mental reps. He's probably standing there doing a lot of the team stuff. He's in the meetings doing all that. He's doing his film reviews. So I'm not worried that he's going to be behind from a game plan standpoint. But you do just worry, like, okay, is he going to be in shape? Is he going to be conditioned? Is he going to have the same effect? Is he going to be 100% back? Or is he going to be 90% that's good enough to play, but maybe not as effective as he would be if he had a full healthy toe and he could push off that, especially when he blitzes, because he's a hell of a blitzer. Even if it's not actually getting to the quarterback, but when he's using that pick technique and hitting these linemen and doing all that stuff, like, you got to bring it to knock those guys off kilter.
Now, it with Cashman, I'll say this for a third time this year. I had no idea how good he was. Because I just wasn't following him closely in Houston. And, I know he got to be Green Dot guy one game when I think Denzel Perryman was down. He had 16 tackles in the game. But, you talk about somebody who personifies. You mesh scheme with players. You don't shove player into scheme that doesn't fit them. Because in this scheme, with his role, it's I don't want to say revitalized because he was good before that.
Right.
But he's hit a new level with player meshing to perfect scheme, right?
Yeah, I agree. I'm with you. I didn't know that he was that good. I remember talking about him when he was coming out of the draft, and I just thought he was undersized. And I was like, well, I don't know. You know, I think he got drafted probably around where it was like appropriate for his stature and his college career to get drafted. And then he had the injuries with the Jets, and he never really got into a rhythm and never really got out there. And then obviously he goes to Houston, and it just fits. I mean, it's probably just the perfect time for his body to be ready for that workload. He understood, because it's a little the same similar defensive scheme that he came from with Saleh that he had there in Houston. So he was able to hit the ground running mentally. And I just think that, boy, when he got comfortable, the way he can fly around and play with reckless abandon, like, I didn't know that was part of his game until we see him here with the Vikings. And this dude runs and hits and he's got bend to his body. He understands some of the passing schemes more than I thought. Like, he's a great all-around linebacker that, for being quote-unquote a little undersized, he'll bring it, and he throws his body around.
Somebody who works with another team, who's a mutual friend of ours, texted me yesterday saying, how did Kwesi pull off that Cam trade? I mean, it's not like Cam Robinson is Walter Jones, Orlando Pace, Anthony Munoz reincarnate. He started a lot of games, still is relatively young in his career.
Yeah.
And he started a bunch of games this year. And it seems to be the give has some meager to it. It's just not much on the give side. So, like, what do you think of this whole thing?
Well, it's a perfect confluence of the Jags were looking to get rid of him. The GM wanted Walker Little to play that position. And
but you got to know that. I mean, you got but
these guys know.
Yeah.
These guys know.
You think everybody is that dialed into things?
I think when it comes to just like whoever texted you just about, oh my gosh, I can't believe how did Kwesi do this? I'm guessing that a lot of people in the league, when you're talking about trades, you start floating these people, start talking, and it's not so much the GM to GM. It's like all the people that work underneath him. Hey, I got a buddy that works with the Jags. I got a buddy that works here. I got a buddy that works here. Like,
right.
Rumors are they might be this guy's kind of fallen out of favor with those guys, and you start adding up all the pieces. Like, okay, he's on the last year of his contract, going to be a free agent guy. His contract's prorated, so. You don't have to. He's already been paid part of that proration anyway. So
the Jags picked up $7 million of it.
$7 million, and so it's like, if they're looking to get rid of this guy anyway, and let's just say that he's not taking it well or whatever, he's not going to take the demotion. I'm sure most guys are not going to take the demotion very well.
Yeah,
you don't need him on the team. He's going to become sort of a cancer and sort of dead weight. Yeah. And so,
what about this idea too? Is a year ago they make that move for Ezra Cleveland. And by all accounts, you can say from the Jags' perspective, it went well, right? They end up re-upping Ezra. So maybe, how quickly could this have been where Darisaw gets clipped on Thursday night and Jags GM is like, well, we are interested in moving on. Is there a possibility there where it happened that quickly?
Sure.
Potentially based on the good relationship and the good transaction that took place a year ago.
That's a wonderful way to look at it, because that's how it works.
Yeah.
Where, like, hey, you know what? You had my back last year with Ezra, and it went bang, bang. I want to get your back right now. And we're going to be square with you on his physical condition. He got suspended last year for PEDs. Here's the who, what, where, when, and why on that. He had an injury last year. Who, what, where, when, and why on that. You'll vet him out, of course, but we're going to do you a solid here.
Yeah, and I think, as Norno says that, I think that is,
that's how it works.
It could have worked just like that. These guys, for the most part, including throwing in the agents. Then you start talking about how the agents get involved, and how they are the conduit between the GM and the player a lot.
But they ruin things because they can't keep their mouth shut.
Sometimes, yeah.
A lot of times. I mean, that's why you didn't see, like, rumors have it Cam Robinson is being courted by the LA Chargers, but he's not. They just want to increase the value for the Vikings.
No, the thing is, it's a game. Like, they all know how to play the game. Some guys play the game better than others. Yeah. But it could be as easy as direct contact between both GMs saying, "Hey man, we're friendly. We've got this relationship. Hey, I'll do you a solid. You did us a solid. Let's see if we're going to get rid of this guy anyway. You guys need a guy. Maybe we can get this deal done." And maybe it was that amicable.
Yeah.
There also are agent relationships that could play a part in it too. The point is, like, I think the people on the inside know the inside dealings of a lot of the other organizations as well. I mean, they're all very tied in. And as much as you want to keep things secret and whatever, there's always leaks. And sometimes there's intentional leaks. So it is a game, and it is a little politicking here going on here and there. But the nice thing is, this seems like a win-win situation for both franchises. They're looking to get rid of a guy that they're going to replace anyway. They were not going to pay him. They were not going to give him a free agent contract at the end of the season, regardless, even if he wasn't all pro. Like, GM wanted his own guy to start.
Yeah.
It seems like they were tired of Cam.
Right.
So if he wasn't going to be on the team, he has no long-term plans. You guys need a guy. It's an easy deal, and both teams went out.
That's Ben Leber, courtesy of Maple Grove Lock and Safe, around the corner in our second segment with beloved Nachito. We have a Maple Grove Lock and Safe Lock of the Week. I also threw one in there to compliment and or amplify Ben's lock. And we will go league-wide, too. We have to. Why? Zimmer is at Cousins this Sunday, and Detroit is at Lambeau. And Doug Peterson, by the way, with these Jags, is at Philadelphia. So there are some cool underlying scenarios outside of the purple and gold covenant this weekend, and we'll do that around the corner. But first,
the Fan, along with two men in a junk truck, they want to give you a chance to put $1,000 in your hand with the National Cash Contest. Go to KFAN.com, enter the keyword dollar. You might win 1,000 of them with the keyword dollar at KFAN.com.
Leber. And he's P.A.
Oh, please. You are one of the biggest suck-ups I know.
Oh, my.
Winter is coming.
Winter has arrived, 9 to noon, to warm the hearts for those of you on the chill. It's Paul Allen, FM 100.3, KFAN. Ben Leber, at Nacho Leber via Twitter. Watch him on television each and every weekday. It's Channel 5, TCL. Yeah, you know we. From 3 to 4:30. Each and every weekday on Channel 5. It's called Twin Cities Live. I'll lay it out like this. Zimmer is at Cousins this Sunday. How about that doozy? I mean, if pride goes before the fall, you know, Kirk can be a man of humility, but he's going to want to drill this guy. That guy's going to want to drill the other guy. Zimmer at Cousins this weekend. Zimmer's defense is reeling. It's had injury problems, and the Falcons are ascending. What do you think of this one?
Let's go, Kirk.
What do you mean?
Come on!
Why'd Zim catch a stray out of nowhere?
What do you mean? Why did he catch a stray? He shot so many bullets at everybody around here. I'm like, really? This guy had a golden opportunity to lead a franchise, which by and large, he was the right guy at the right time for what the Vikings needed. Mm-hmm. The way that he burned bridges and, you know, the way that he cast blame on everybody else for the team's lack of success, which you're the head coach, dude. I know that not every situation's your fault, but to not be the bigger guy and just basically blast everybody else and say it wasn't his fault and be so bitter, I have no time for that guy.
When Mike was fired, and I'm sure people remember this, Spielman and Zimmer were fired at the same time. From what I understand, they both were with the Wilfs, okay, when the news was coming down. One of the Wilfs got teary-eyed, you know, because it was an emotional, hard situation. And Spielman, it was important to Rick to get to whatever players still were there and just thank them. And like, I'm out, dog, but, you know, hey, this. And Zimmer just bolted. So, and didn't go say goodbye to any of the players. So if you were on that team, would that have bugged you?
Hell yeah, it would have bugged me.
Right.
I mean, it's like, it's never easy, you know, to get fired like that. You know, I was always very appreciative when my time with the Vikings was over. You know, had a great conversation with Spielman. I know it's opposite. Like, I know Spielman's not, in this situation, Spielman wasn't getting fired, but I was getting fired. I was getting let go.
Right.
I mean, it was weird because my contract was up and I knew that I wasn't coming back. It was a great conversation, and it had a nice little bow at the end of my Vikings career. It was nice that everything was kind of tied up. There was closure to it. It felt like it felt professional in the way it should have felt. Rob Brzezinski calls me. We have a good conversation. I mean, that's the right way to do it. To ask your guys to go up there as a leader of the team, to ask these guys to pour their heart and soul into what your vision, what you believe in, and you get these guys to do, for the most part, believe in you, believe in your system, get you to do things that maybe they weren't ready to do, but that's your job as a coach, and you get these guys to believe. And you'd think that person would care about those guys that helped him find success here. And then for him to get fired and to leave and to not show any appreciation for those guys that went out and gave their heart and soul for you, I think it's cowardly. It's childish, it's juvenile, and that's not how you treat professionals.
They are sailing along so smoothly with the Atlanta Falcons that after the most recent win, Kyle Pitts was heard saying this in the locker room.
Oh, my God. Kirko, chill.
Detroit's at Lambeau. The Lions have beaten the Packers 4 of the last 5, and Green Bay won the last one at Detroit last year, in fact, about 11 months ago. But before that, when Campbell was getting this group good, you could just tell that, he didn't get loud about it, but you can just tell it wasn't the Vikings, it was the Packers. What these guys have done to us, if you look back at it for the last 2 decades, it stops right now. And not only are we going to beat them, we're going to punish them. We're going to punish them every step of the way for what they've done to Lions of days gone by. And when they beat Green Bay, man, they punish them. Now, I can't remember how they lost last year, but Detroit at Lambeau, love, no love, Liberty Kid, no Liberty Kid, who cares? I just can't see the Lions not winning. What about you?
I mean, from my head or my heart, it's two different things. I'm a Packer fan this week.
Let's go from your wallet. Ooh, it's Lions. I mean, just like you were talking about Penn State this morning on my drive in. I mean, just go ahead and segue all that mojo over here the Motor City way.
Okay, betting with my wallet, the Lions. Mm-hmm. The Lions should win this game.
I think they're favored.
They should be favored, and they will most likely win this game at Lambeau Field. And they'll continue to have this stranglehold on the top of the NFC North.
3.5 points.
3.5 points.
Oh, geez. Okay. That's a fat-ass road favorite right there.
So, but my hope is, I'm hoping that the Packers knock them off.
Why?
Well, because, I don't want...
Make a run at the division.
I don't want the Lions to run away with this division. They already got us. And so when we got the Packers, so we need to bring some parity into this deal if we want to get back on top. So
I'm feeling that
from a standing standpoint, from a leverage standpoint, for us as the Vikings to get back on top and to get that number 1 seed in the NFC North, and hopefully, maybe the number 1 seed in the NFC. We need the Packers to beat the Lions this weekend.
The Vikings, I feel comfortable, depending on how injuries go and everything. Let's put the Indy game to the side for a second. The Flo Jacko thing throws me off a little bit because of my high level of respect for how he orchestrates games. And when we're on a 2-game losing streak, and Cashman might be below 50%. So let's just start there. But no matter the scenario, I don't see the Vikings losing at Jacksonville. I don't see them losing at Tennessee. So if they can get this one on Sunday night, and the more I've gotten into it with your guy, Adonai Mitchell, Pittman Jr., Alec Pierce running 9s, Josh Downs, heard his name a million times. Damn, he's pretty good. And the way they use the running backs, Goodson, Taylor, Sermon, they have an organized offense. Quentin Nelson's still good. Ryan Kelly seems to be good. I've always liked Braden Smith, the right tackle. I mean, they got a nice little offense. They ran up 36 on us a couple of years ago. So this one I think is trickier than the next two. But if you can get this one, then I feel quite comfortable. You're going to win 3 in a row. and that's going to put you at 8-2 into a game at Soldier Field. That would not be a bad lot in life.
No, that'd be a great situation to be in, and it all depends on if in this scenario we rail off 3 wins in a row. It's like how do we look? Mm-hmm. Are we kind of back to the way we started the season? Is the defense creating chaos? Is the defense not having communication or mental errors in the back end? Are we making plays? Are we taking away the football? Are we kind of getting back to our identity on defense? Offensively, if we have Aaron Jones healthy, are we finding that balance? Are we efficient? Getting the ball where it needs to go, moving the chains, all that stuff, and then taking the top off the defense and picking our spots to go deep.
Yeah,
that's what we look like. And if that's the case, then yes, we're feeling really good about ourselves. But if we go out there and we stumble through these games and we just happen to get the wins, it's going to feel different. And it's like, okay, guys, like eventually we're going to have to get all the gears going again at the same time as we kind of ramp up towards the end of the season where you got to be peaking going to the playoffs. So it is about the style of which we win.
Yeah.
But to focus on this game, I am concerned by this game. I know a lot of fans out there are thinking, oh, it's just the Colts.
Yep. No, I am too.
So much going on with the quarterback situation and there's so much turmoil and yada, yada, yada. This is a very talented football team.
Agreed. I forgot how good Julian Blackmon is, and Kenny Moore's a wonderful corner.
Yeah, they have their defensive front. I know that we've played a lot of good defensive fronts, but getting DeForest Buckner back this last game versus the game before and the games before, he is a difference maker.
Yeah.
And he makes that defensive line way more formidable. They are an attacking defensive front. They don't do a ton of blitzing. You'll see some blitzing on 2nd and long. We get into 2nd and 8, I would expect a blitz. We get into 3rd down, I would expect a blitz. But as far as the chaos that we create with all the different looks, you're not going to see that. Standard 4-3, you're going to see 4 down linemen. They let those 4 guys eat. And they, I think, in my opinion, do a really good job of winning one-on-ones. They do a really good job of executing their stunts and twists. They do a really good job of just mano-a-mano wanting to beat you up. So our offensive line better come to play because they don't mess around on that defensive front. And they've got some guys, who is at number 20 as a cornerback. He's playing really high level.
Now the safety, Nick Cross.
Nick Cross is at number 20.
Third year Maryland.
He's playing at a real high level, making a lot of plays. I think three of the top 10 tacklers in the league all play on the Colts defense.
Yeah. Well, Zaire Franklin leads the NFL in solo tackles.
Yes.
Or in tackles, one of the two. Good point. Lastly, Maple Grove Lock and Safe Lock of the Week. Thank you, Maple Grove Lock and Safe, for Ben Leber each and every Thursday, 9 to noon. I have 1 or 2 locks that involve touting, but you have a Vikings related lock for Maple Grove Lock and Safe. What do you have?
Yeah, I do appreciate you guys, Maple Grove Lock and Safe. I appreciate the fact that you guys sell Liberty Safes there. I have a Liberty Safe. Now, full disclaimer, I did not get it through Maple Grove Lock and Safe, but appreciate the craftsmanship. And I got all my stuff in there, right? I got my passports, got my guns in there, got all my stuff, that I need to keep safe. Anyway, fantastic.
You're really going to say you have guns just a few days in front of a presidential election. What are you trying to...
Why is that a big deal?
I regret saying it because I knew I was going to get a why, and I don't want to respond to the why.
Why?
So let's just okay.
I legally have guns.
Yep,
I don't know.
I appreciate that. Continue.
Yeah, a lot of them are hunting guns.
Yep, okay, continue, please. Maple Grove Lock and Safe. Damn it, Liberty Safes. Come on. What's your combination?
Okay, so my lock of the week is going to be Joe Flacco. As much as we're glazing him a lot right now.
Mm-hmm. We're glazing him?
This is the highest sack percentage that he's had in the last 5 years of his career.
What's happening to KFAN today? I'm driving in and you're touting, and I hear Tommy Olson say, "I do Leber."
Yeah, he did say that.
When he was trying to
say that.
I mean, yeah, he has some marble mouth every so often, but he was trying to say, "I follow Ben's tout." He goes, "I do Leber."
I always love that one.
And now you just talked about his glazing AVG.
I always love that one.
What are we doing up in here? You're testing my faith. Go ahead, continue.
So we're talking really good about Flacco. Mm-hmm. Right now he has the highest sack percentage that he's suffered in the last 5 years. And so he gives up about 2 and some change, the last few games when he's in there on average. So my lock of the week is that we will sack him 3 times minimum.
Yeah.
And this is actually kind of big because
we need that.
We didn't do anything last week.
3 of 34 last week, pressures.
We didn't do anything
9%, the lowest in a game in 5 years.
Wow.
Yes.
Damn.
So I think we
rolled in to do a radio show and found an Elias Sports Bureau convention.
We get back on track with pressuring the quarterback, and we get to Joe Flacco at least 3 times.
Okay. Would love that. Tell me what you think of this. We have 30 seconds to do it. Maple Grove lock and save. I like the Rams -1 a lot at Seattle. I just know what I saw with the full strength bed. It just changed. Everything I had seen now, and by the way, DeMarcus Robinson, he's a dog. Mm-hmm. Okay, he's played a long time. He's made huge catches in huge championship games.
He's good as a 3,
right? And so therefore, when you get the dogs back, and you got the kid with the 10 touchdowns who scores every single game. This it's a good way to get around that offensive line when Stafford's on one, as Kevin O'Connell said. And you have those guys around. So I like the Rams -1 at Seattle. At Seattle. What do you think of that?
I like it.
Chair chance?
Yes.
Tonight, I think this is an absolute lead pipe, stone cold locked cinch. And I just saw it on social media an hour ago, and I haven't even researched it. C.J. Stroud under 225.5 passing yards. That's an absolute cinch tonight.
Yeah, with the banged up wide receiver group that he has in that defensive backfield that the Jets have.
He doesn't roll up bat numbers even with Nico and Stephon or whomever. Yeah. He doesn't roll up bat numbers. He doesn't turn it over a lot, doesn't take sacks.
Yeah.
So under 225.5 for the Maple Grove lock. And safe lock of the week. Ben says 3 sacks or more for the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah, I was going to say, before I go, a little shameless plug here.
Monday who? Monday who?
Monday
where?
Mystic Lake, 7 to 8. The Gink. The Gink is on fire.
The Gink. The Gink. The Gink is on fire. We don't need nothing. Let the mother burn. Hello, my name is Andrew.
Yeah. So Andrew Van Ginkel, he's going to be my guest.
Where?
Monday, Mystic Lake Drinks Bar, 7 to 8 p.m. It is free to attend. I hope to see you guys there.
Right on, brother. I'll see you this weekend.
All right, see you.
And watch you on the TV today. Watch Ben on TV today. 3 o'clock, 3 to 4:30, Channel 5, Twin Cities Live. We'll be right back. Nordo's excited. It's a Thursday at Canterbury Park. Providers of news do Nord, which means he can take his free MVP card and go to Canterbury Park and play the Pigskin Pick'em, which in free fashion gives him and you an opportunity to win $500. Contest opened 52 minutes ago. Nordo is a weekly staple at the old Shakopee Oval. Why wouldn't he be? He's an elite football mind. That's available today.
In fairness, the reason that I love Canterbury is not because I'm an elite football mind. It's because they got that felt there.
We got some felt.
We got the blackjack tables.
We have beer.
The ATM on occasion.
We have beer.
Is in the perfect spot when we need to reload.
The PATM.
The summits. There's something about elite local summit beer while feeling the felt.
Ooh.
Over tipping Derek Allen on a weekday.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing.
And that's available now. CanterburyPark.com for information. And also, yours truly, Kevin Gorg, Angela Herman, Jay Litza, the Star Tribune handicapper, and Jeff Madej, our conduit to running the press box. We are doing a Breeders' Cup seminar this evening at 7 o'clock at Canterbury Park on level number 2. We will handle 14 Breeders' Cup races. I believe there are 5 tomorrow and then 9 on Saturday. It's at Del Mar, so therefore, with the time difference, some of these races run a little later here in the cornfields. But I've handicapped a fair amount of it now. Typical Breeders' Cup. Even if you don't know how to handicap, it's the best 2 days to fire a little with the opportunity to make a lot in trifectas, superfectas, pick fours, and pick fives. Even if you're picking names, jockeys, trainers, and like doing just rudimentary handicapping.
I wasn't, I was looking at something. I didn't hear you, so maybe you did already say this.
Yeah.
This is the biggest money-making weekend in horse racing.
I would say it is.
And that's even more so, like people think about the Derby, right? Hit that win bet, or you get a superfecta or something works out on Derby Day. That's probably when the most money is wagered.
Yeah.
But maybe this is the biggest money-making opportunity. Is that fair?
Yeah, in the United States of America, the Dubai World Cup Day.
Ooh.
But you got to be up like 4 a.m, 4 or 5. Old people ain't getting up at 4 or 5 to try to play a double in the United Arab Emirates.
Unless Teddy's snoring, and then you're already up.
Yeah, and then I call Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, and one of his henchmen takes care of Teddy. But we digress. The big reason, and there are a lot of European horses with earnings at $1, $2, and $3 million. What they're earning over in Europe, and the wave of Japanese horses to capture the imagination of the nation and the world the last 3 or 4 years, and they're paying prices too. So you're getting these Japanese horses with these fat earnings hitting first, second, or third in trifectas or superfectas. Those suckers are paying $5,000 or above because people are unfamiliar with the tracks or the jockey the jockey, or stuff like that. So there are going to be some massive Saturday payoffs specifically. Saturday with those Breeders' Cup races, holy cow, those are tough. I'm predicting some massive payouts for wagering low amounts of money. CanterburyPark.com to learn more. Seminar tonight, 7 o'clock. I'll be there. Stop by, say hi.
Since we're already in the midst of making this an entire horse-related segment, stupid question. You mentioned, Japanese breeds. There are horses in Japan that have been popping in the news, right? So, for instance, like in the meat game, like Japanese Wagyu beef, as good as it gets. Now you have Snake River Farms and companies that here in the States make American Wagyu, also very, very good.
I'm telling Roach we're an 05.
Is there breed stealing, or is it like if you're seeing something that's working in Japan?
I see what you're saying.
Would you take that? Would you take a horse from them, bring it here, and then start that breeding process in earnest here on stateside?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's happened for decades. Overseas, like really good horse. Let's say it's a sire named Red Ransom or Shackleford.
It's definitely not Mendelssohn, though.
Or not this time, where they will get hot early in their breeding run. And then a Korean, Japanese, or whatever conglomerate will get together and say, well, we know the estimated value of this sire Shackleford is $19 million. We'd like to give you 40. So let's just but we're not giving you 40 if you call anybody and try to play that game.
I mean, you're almost buying a bloodline, right?
Exactly, because they make 5 to 10 times more off of that.
Wow.
If the sire or the mare stays hot. So that's the big money part of the game behind the scenes. But something just happened with these Japanese horses over the last X amount of years. It might have slowed down a little bit last year. I'm telling you, at the Dubai World Cup, where they got like a $10 to $15 million race. I mean, they're printing money over there, my man. And then over here at the Breeders' Cup, these Japanese horses were just popping in the top 3 at 20 to 1 or higher. They're all over the place at Del Mar, and the fan has learned it's a shorter trip from Japan to Southern California than like Japan to New York City to race at Belmont or Saratoga or something like that. So it's a lot of fun. I get stuck pretty much every single year. Actually broke even at the Breeders' Cup 2 years ago because I take swings. These are the days you put $15, $20, $25, $30, $40 into something, and if you hit the sucker, you're going to get $2,000 or more. But
wow.
you got to hit it. It's hard. Yeah, this is cool. I told Roach 05, so what's up with Dunizzle?
Yeah, the Dodgers are world champions.
Well, here's the 1-2 to Verdugo. Breaking ball cut on and miss. Strike 3. Ball game over. World Series over. Dodgers win. Los Angeles is the new champion, and they're going nuts on the field. I don't blame them. You know, in baseball, you get down to spring training on February 15th or so, February 20th, and you play 30 games in preseason. and then 162 in the regular season, and then all the playoffs. So when you see them jump around like this, boy, there's reason for it. They deserve it. They erased a 5-0 lead tonight. The Yankees helped. And the Dodgers win the ball game by the score of 7-6.
I had to soak in stories from the lap of Uncle John, as in John Sterling, Yankees Vox, WFAN.
Love it.
As he wound his way through spring training, regular season, playoff games. The key to that, the Yankees were up 5-0. Aaron Judge, you wanted this guy to get active in the playoffs with the bat. He starts off the game with it was a 2-run shot in the first, I believe, from Aaron Judge.
Yep.
You stake the 5-0 lead. 3 errors. Aaron Judge giveth all rise for the 2-run shot. He also had an error in the game, 1 of 3, and it was a Mookie Betts sac fly that took the lead.
And what do we say game 1 of the World Series? The stars are going to be the stars.
Listen to Charlie
Here's the big
Steiner's
one
voice.
in Mookie Betts.
Lever sets.
Damn.
Kicks and fires. Betts swings. Cracks a ball in the air, center field. Judge backs up. Edman tagging from third. Here he comes. Another sacrifice fly, and the Dodgers have the lead in Game 5. It's now 7-6 LA.
Do you think the worst thing that's ever happened to modern-day voxing is that not enough people smoke cigarettes and cigars anymore? I mean, you just don't get that super deep baritone rasp that almost was a standard for so many years.
The Yankees fans were required to find some sedative, some alternative vibe.
There may have been a different kind of smoking going on.
Thank you to ease their pain and their nerves last night when your guy Rizzo and Garrett Cole freaked out.
Yeah.
And it changed the whole game. I mean, shoulder slumping, countenances became that of chagrin. I don't know if Cole was, I mean, it's PFP. I mean, it goes all the way back to spring training, pitchers fielding practice. I don't know if the pitcher's supposed to get there, if Rizzo's supposed to do a better job. It changed the game because there were 2 outs. They were out of the inning.
Yeah.
They were going to win the game if they just execute pitcher fielding practice, and they didn't, and they definitely had to pay for it.
Only other thing I have for you is, Alec, we have Jets and Texans tonight. Jets 1.5 favorites. And that's a big game for the 2-6 Jets, who need to find some life and some reason to continue on with their awful season thus far. Alex Kirilloff, out of nowhere, PA, retired after 9 seasons.
I saw that.
And he said, I'm announcing my decision to step away. Baseball's cornerstone of my life. Started childhood Western Pennsylvania, where I grew up, son of a baseball coach. You can follow him, Kirilloff19 via X, and you can read the entire post, but it kind of boils down to he's tired of the injuries, man. He's tired of getting beat up. He's tired of giving it his all and then just coming up with something, right?
Yeah.
The impressive nature where talent and perseverance in some sad cases is just overcome with the inability to stay healthy. It sounds like that played a factor in to his decision to retire. So, and it was an unexpected news bite this morning for baseball fans. So,
And Alex has a particular back malady that is 2 super long words. But he's just like Nordo said, that's it. I'm just done dealing with this, trying to play baseball through this. So sorry it had to end that way.
Yeah.
But the blessing of being able to do what he did as long as he did also is a blessing. And we wish him nothing but the best. Likewise for Alan Roach at Mile High Roach, the Vox of all Voxes ever to Vox, the voice of U.S. Bank Stadium. He joins 9 to noon next.